A man with one eye, one leg, and one arm, and fighting wars, leading his army. One of the scariest and hardiest man ever lived. Imagine this, a fierce Chechen commander, battered by war, missing an arm, a leg, and an eye. Yet he charges into battle on a makeshift crutch, his iron will unbroken. This is Baysangur of Benoy, the legendary rebel who defied the Russian Empire until his last breath. Welcome to History is Metal, where we dive into the stories of unbreakable spirits. Today, we're uncovering the life of this indomitable hero. Hello everyone, I'm your host on History is Metal, and if you're passionate about tales of resistance and heroism, you're in for a treat. Our story takes place in the rugged Caucasus Mountains during the 19th century, a time when the Russian Empire sought to conquer the proud peoples of the North Caucasus. The Caucasian Wars raged from 1817 to 1864, but the spark of rebellion began even earlier with Sheikh Mansour, a charismatic leader who united tribes against Russian expansion in the late 1700s. I did a video about Sheikh Mansour, you guys can check it out. It took me a long time to work on that video. Captured in 1791, Mansour's fall didn't end the fight, it fueled it. Resistance simmered and erupted anew under leaders like Imam Shamil, who built a theocratic state to repel the invaders. Enter Baysangur of Benoy, born around 1794 in the village of Benoy in Chechnya. A Chechen warrior through and through, Baysangur became one of Shamil's most trusted deputies, or naibs. His story is one of unwavering commitment to freedom, showcasing the prolonged Caucasian resistance that outlasted even the mightiest empires. Baysangur grew up in a world of constant turmoil. The Chechens, known for their fierce independence and clan-based society, had long resisted foreign domination. As a young man, Baysangur joined the uprising led by Baybalat Taimiev between 1825 and 1826, honing his skills as a guerrilla fighter. But his true calling came in 1828 when he pledged allegiance to Ghazi Muhammad, the first imam of the Caucasian Imamate, a movement blending Islamic revival with anti-colonial resistance. After Ghazi's death, Baysangur continued under the second imam, Hamzat Bek, and then the third, Imam Shamil, who would become legendary for his strategic brilliance.
In 1839, after the devastating siege of Ahulgo, where Russian forces crushed Shamil's stronghold, the imam fled to Chechnya. It was Baysangur who extended a hand of refuge, inviting Shamil to Benoy. This act cemented their bond. Benoy, a stronghold of anti-Russian sentiment, became a base for rebuilding. Baysangur's loyalty was absolute. He rose to become one of Shamil's key naibs, commanding detachments of fierce Benoy fighters. As a naib, Baysangur wasn't just a soldier. He was a master tactician and inspirational leader. He led his men in hit-and-run raids, ambushes, and defensive stands that frustrated the Russian armies. His reputation grew as a fearless warrior, skilled in the rugged terrain of the Caucasus, where sheer cliffs and dense forests turned every battle into a test of endurance. Baysangur's close association with Imam Shamil meant he was at the heart of the imamete's military operations. Shamil trusted him with critical missions, and Baysangur delivered time and again. His forces, drawn from the Benoy clan, were known for their discipline and ferocity. In an era when the Russians deployed massive armies with artillery, Baysangur's guerrilla tactics kept the resistance alive for decades. But war extracts a heavy toll. In 1846, during a brutal clash with forces under Count Mikhail Vorontsov, Baysangur lost his left arm and left eye to enemy fire. Most men would have retired from the fight, but not Baysangur. His unbroken spirit shone through. He adapted, fighting on with one arm and unyielding resolve. Baysangor's legend truly solidified in the battles that followed. Just a year after his injuries, in 1847, at the defense of Gergebil, a cannonball tore off his left leg. Captured briefly by the Russians, he was thought to be finished. But in a daring escape orchestrated by his comrades, Baysangur was rescued. Now, missing an arm, a leg, and an eye, he refused to surrender. Propped on a crutch or carried by his men, he continued to lead charges, his presence alone inspiring terror in the enemy and hope in his allies. For over a decade more, Baysangur fought under Shamil. But the turning point came in 1859 at the siege of Gunib. With Russian forces closing in, Shamil chose to surrender to end the bloodshed. Baysangur, however, defied even his imam. "I will not bow to the infidels," he reportedly declared. Breaking through the siege with a band of loyal followers, he escaped and rallied a new uprising. In 1860, alongside former naibs like Umaduev and Atabi Atayev, Baysangur led revolts across Chechnya. In June, his forces crushed a Russian detachment near Fachu. In November, they held off a massive assault of Cossacks and infantry. His defiance was the stuff of legends, an ultimate symbol of resistance against overwhelming odds.
The Russians, determined to crush the last embers of rebellion, launched a scorched earth campaign. Led by generals like Musa Kundukhov and with local collaborators, they razed 15 villages around Benoy, starving out the resistors. Baysangur and his men, weakened but unbowed, were finally cornered near Belgatoy. Captured in late 1860, Baysangur was imprisoned in Khasavyurt. Despite his pleas for a warrior's death by firing squad, he was sentenced to hang by Major General Pavel Kempert. On March 1, 1861, at age 67, Baysangur met his end with dignity, his final words a testament to his indomitable will. No regrets, only pride in the fight for freedom. His tragic execution marked the end of an era, but not the spirit he embodied. Baysangur's story lives on as a beacon of relentless resistance. Among Chechens, he's a national hero, symbolizing the unbreakable spirit against oppression. Streets in Chechnya and Dagestan bear his name, and his tale inspires novels like Abuzar Aydemirov's Long Nights and songs by artists like Timur Mutsarayev. Baysangur of Benoy was not just a warrior, but a living legend whose fearlessness became the heartbeat of Chechen resistance. Despite losing an arm, a leg, and an eye in the crucible of war, his spirit remained unbreakable, a testament to his extraordinary resilience. Known as the one-armed lion, he charged into battle on a crutch, his mere presence turning the tide of despair into hope for his fighters. Stories of his hardiness spread like wildfire. He endured freezing mountain winters, relentless pursuits, and crippling wounds, yet never wavered in his defiance of the Russian Empire. His iron will transformed him into a symbol of unyielding valor, inspiring his people to believe that no force could extinguish their fight for freedom. Even today, his legacy echoes in modern conflicts, reminding us of the cost of freedom. Baysangur of Benoy wasn't just a commander, he was the embodiment of an unbroken spirit, a man whose iron will prolonged the Caucasian resistance and inspired generations. His ultimate sacrifice highlights the human cost of the fight for liberty, a reminder that true heroes never truly die. They live on in the stories we tell. If this tale of legendary resistance moved you, hit that like button and subscribe to History is Metal for more untold histories from around the world. Drop a comment below. Who else from the Caucasian Wars or other resistance movements do you want us to cover next? Thanks for watching. See you in the next unveiling.